I was sitting in my beat-up Honda, parked outside a 24-hour Dunkin' Donuts, staring at my phone's dark screen. It was 3 a.m., February, Minneapolis, and I was in just a t-shirt, no jacket, no keys, no insulin. The car reeked of wet dog, my border collie, Luna, curled up in the back seat, whimpering softly. I tried not to cry, but tears burned my eyes anyway. How the hell did I end up like this? I'm Kate, 29, and I just fled my own apartment. My husband, Travis, the so-called war hero, who's really just a civilian bomb tech with a ton of BS stories about his combat days, got plastered again. We got married a year ago, and I thought he was just going through a rough patch. You know, lost his job, stress, all that crap. I was making more money, carrying us both, paying for his beer and Netflix. I thought he'd get back on his feet. Instead, he just plopped on the couch and decided that was his life now. Tonight, it all hit the breaking point. I came home from work. I had a small business making custom jewelry. Sales were decent. Exhausted as hell, I just wanted to eat and crash. But Travis, drunk out of his mind, started yelling that I work too much and don't respect him as a man. I tried to stay calm, but he chucked a plate of half-eaten pizza across the kitchen. Shards scattered on the linoleum, Luna barked, and I felt my blood run cold. "You're just like every other woman, Kate," he screamed. "You all cheat on me. You all betray me." I didn't even get a chance to respond. He shoved me out the door, me in slippers and clutching a fork I'd grabbed instinctively as he pushed me. The door slammed. The lock clicked. I was out in the cold. I banged on the door, yelled, but he just shouted nonsense from inside. Neighbors peeked out, but no one stepped in classic. I called 911, and props to the cops, they showed up fast. They pried the door open, went in, and Travis, the idiot, didn't even resist, just sat on the couch with a Budweiser, watching some dumb wrestling match. I was shaking with rage, but I knew I couldn't stay. I grabbed Luna, my phone, the car keys, and bolted. No insulin, no jacket, no plan. I just got in the Honda and drove until I ended up at that damn Dunkin' Donuts. In the rearview mirror, I looked like a ghost. Messy hair, mascara smeared, lips blue from the cold. Luna nuzzled my knees, like she was saying, "It's gonna be okay, Kate." But I didn't believe it. I'd tried to be a good wife, tried to save Travis, but he wasn't a person. He was a damn anchor around my neck. And you know what? I was done. Done feeding him. Done hearing his whining. Done with his lies about every woman betraying him. Enough. I turned on my phone and texted my dad. "Dad, I'm coming to your place in Portland. Travis is a lost cause. I can't do this anymore." Dad lived in Oregon, 3 days drive, but I knew he wouldn't ask questions. He always said, "Kate, you deserve better." And there at 3 a.m., with Luna in the back and a fork on the passenger seat, I realized he was right. I started the engine, cranked the heat, and drove. Minneapolis faded behind me like a bad dream, and ahead was the unknown. And damn it, I was ready for it. For 3 days, I floored my Honda across the country from Minneapolis to Portland. Luna, my border collie, snoozed in the back, occasionally waking to nudge my shoulder with her wet nose. I stopped only at gas stations and cheap motels where the Wi-Fi was so bad I couldn't even check if Travis had texted. Honestly, I didn't give a damn if he did. He called a couple times while I was on the road, but I hung up. After he kicked me out in February without my insulin, I wasn't about to hear his drunken apologies. In one motel, somewhere in Idaho, I found that stupid fork I'd grabbed when he threw me out, tucked in the glove box. I stared at it, snorted, and tossed it back. a memento of my stupidity. When I finally rolled into Portland, Dad met me at the door of his small house in the Alberta district. He hugged me so tight I almost broke down, but I held it together. "Kate, you did the right thing leaving," he said, petting Luna, who wagged her tail like a propeller. "That jerk doesn't deserve you." I nodded, but inside, I was still fuming. I hadn't just left Travis. I'd shut down my business, ditched my apartment, everything I'd built. And for what? A guy who thought his beer gut and empty cans were peak masculinity? Those first weeks in Portland, I was trying to piece myself back together. Dad let me stay in his guest room, and I started reviving my jewelry business bit by bit. Orders were slow, but I was grateful for every sale. Luna became my mascot. I took her to a local coffee shop where I'd sit with my laptop, answering emails. That's where, at Brood Awakening, I first saw him. Jake, 24, tall, with a shark tattoo on his forearm and a smile that, swear to God, made my heart skip. He was a barista, and damn, he was good. Not just at making lattes with perfect foam, but at talking to people. He joked, winked, remembered orders. One day, I was at a corner table, Luna chewing a toy ball at my feet. Jake brought me a coffee I hadn't ordered. "On the house," he said, winking. "You look like you could use some caffeine." I laughed, first time in weeks, and felt my cheeks burn. "Thanks," I mumbled. "Luna's your fan now, by the way." He crouched, scratched Luna's ear, and she practically melted. That's how our little chat started. Every day, I'd go to the coffee shop, supposedly to work, but really waiting for Jake to swing by with a joke or a free donut. He wasn't just cute, he was real. Told me about growing up in Oregon, dreaming of opening a brewery, how his little brother once stole his bike and sold it for $20. I listened and realized, for the first time in forever, I wasn't pretending to be okay. But then I'd catch myself. "Kate, you're 29, fresh off a psycho husband. What the hell are you doing flirting with a guy 5 years younger?" Then Travis had to rear his ugly head. One evening, after I got back from the coffee shop, Dad handed me the phone. "Your ex called," he said, frowning. "Wants to talk." I rolled my eyes, but called back. Travis was sober, which was a miracle, and started spouting nonsense about how he'd seen the light and was ready to sign his apartment over to me. "Kate, I was an idiot," he whined. "Let's start over." I stood on Dad's porch, staring at my Honda parked by the curb, rage boiling inside. "Travis," I said, "you threw me out in February. You almost killed me. Screw your apartment." I hung up and burst into tears. Luna nuzzled me, and I knew I wasn't going back to that nightmare. The next day, I went to the coffee shop, and Jake clocked right away that something was off. "Yo, Kate, what's the deal?" he asked, setting a coffee in front of me. "You look like someone stole your dog." I smirked, but ended up spilling. Not everything, but enough. About Travis, how I ran, how he's trying to worm his way back. Jake listened, didn't interrupt, then said, "You know, that guy's a loser. But you? You're, like, legit awesome. And Luna backs me up." He grinned, and something clicked inside me. For the first time in ages, I thought maybe I had a shot at something good. I was at Brood Awakening, sipping another free latte from Jake, trying not to stare at him too obviously. Luna, as usual, sprawled at my feet, gnawing her ball and making happy little noises. It had been a month since I told Travis to get lost, and honestly, I was starting to feel alive. Jake was like a breath of fresh air. We talked every day, and he knew I'd take my coffee with 2 sugars, that Luna hates vacuums, and that I'd bolted from Minneapolis to escape my drunk husband. I didn't go into details, but he didn't pry, just listened. And damn, that felt good. One evening, he suggested meeting up after his shift. "Got a spot you'll like," he said, wiping down the counter. "Bring Luna, it'll be fun." I agreed, though my insides were doing flips. A date? Was this a date? I'm 29, he's 24, I've got baggage the size of a semi, and he's the sunny guy with a shark tattoo. But I threw on my best jeans, put on some lipstick, and drove my Honda to the Willamette riverfront where he told me to meet. Luna rode shotgun, tongue out, like she approved. Jake was waiting by the food trucks, holding 2 tacos and a craft beer. "Kate, you're 3 minutes late," he teased, handing me a taco. "Luna, tell your mom that's not cool." I laughed, and we walked along the river. He talked about his brewery dreams. I shared about my jewelry. We sat on a bench. Luna chased ducks, and I realized I wasn't thinking about Travis. For the first time in a year, I was just here now. When Jake took my hand, I didn't pull away. When he leaned in and kissed me, I kissed back. And God, it was like some cheesy rom-com, only better. But life's never that simple, right? A couple days later, I was in the coffee shop when my phone buzzed. Travis. I wanted to ignore it, but something made me pick up. "Kate, I'm in Portland," he blurted. "We need to talk. I'll fix everything." I nearly dropped my coffee. "What the hell are you doing here?" I snapped. He fed me the same BS. He's quit drinking, wants a fresh start, even brought some of my stuff from Minneapolis. I told him to go back, but he wouldn't quit. "I know where you live, Kate. I just want to talk." I panicked. Luna, sensing it, pressed her nose into my knees. Jake, seeing my face, came over. "Hey, you good?" I told him about the call, and his eyes darkened. "This guy seriously came here," he said, clenching his fists. "Kate, you don't have to meet him." But I knew Travis. He wouldn't stop until he got what he wanted or made a scene. I didn't want him crashing my new life, but I wasn't hiding either. We agreed to meet Travis at a park near Dad's house. I brought Luna and Jake. He insisted on coming. When we got there, Travis was already by a bench, holding a ratty backpack. He looked sober, but that didn't erase what he'd done. "Kate," he started. Ignoring Jake, I was an idiot. "I want us back." His voice shook, but I saw the same manipulative crap in his eyes. Luna growled, like she felt it too. "Travis, you threw me out on the street," I said, trying to stay calm. "You almost killed me. What are you even talking about?" He stepped closer, and Jake moved between us. "Dude, back off," he said, calm but firm. She said it clear. Travis glared at Jake, then me, his face twisting. "What, this your new boyfriend?" he spat. "You're a damn slut, Kate. All of you are." My blood boiled. Luna barked, and Travis threw the backpack down, my old stuff spilling out, t-shirts, earrings, even that stupid fork I'd left in Minneapolis. I lost it. "Travis, you're pathetic," I said, shaking with anger. "You're nothing. Go back to your hole and stay out of my life." He opened his mouth, but Jake stepped forward, and Travis must have realized he'd lost. He spat on the ground, muttered something about all women are traitors, and walked off. I stood there, staring at the scattered stuff, tears burning my eyes. Jake hugged me. Luna pressed against my legs. "He's gone, Kate," Jake said. "You're free." After that park scene, I felt like a semi had been lifted off my shoulders. Travis was gone, leaving only a pile of my old stuff and that dumb fork now tossed in my Honda's trunk. I gathered the clothes, and Jake helped load them into the car. Luna, as always, was right there, wagging her tail like she was saying, "Kate, you nailed it. not letting that loser back in. We drove back to Dad's, Jake holding my hand the whole way until I stopped shaking. "You okay?" he asked, pulling up to the porch. I nodded, though I was still rattled. But looking at him, his shark tattoo, his warm smile, I knew things might actually be all right. A month later, life started clicking. I revived my jewelry business and orders poured in. Portland was perfect for it. Locals loved handmade stuff, and my engraved earrings flew off Etsy like hot donuts. I even rented a small studio in the Hawthorne district to work and meet clients. Luna, naturally, was the star. Clients adored her, and she loved their treats. The best part? I stopped looking back. Travis vanished from my life like a bad dream. He tried texting a couple times, but I blocked his number, and that was that. Things with Jake felt so natural, I sometimes couldn't believe it. We started dating officially, and a couple months later, he brought up moving in together. "Kate, I'm serious," he said one day at Brewed Awakening, sliding a coffee with 2 sugars my way. "Me, you, Luna, we'd be a killer team." I laughed, but my heart was pounding. "You're 5 years younger," I teased. "Not scared I'll boss you around?" He grinned. "PSH, I'm already training Luna. See her next." Luna, hearing her name, nudged his knees, and I knew it was a sign. We rented a small apartment in the Selwood district with a river view and a yard for Luna to run in. My Honda now parked at home, not at 24-hour diners, and I stopped waking up in a cold sweat thinking about Travis. Jake wasn't just a boyfriend, he was a partner. He helped with my business, hauled boxes of supplies, and at night we'd cook dinner and watch goofy Netflix shows. Luna, of course, stole the spotlight, snatching pizza crusts off our plates. One evening, we sat on our apartment's balcony, sipping his homemade beer. He'd started tinkering with recipes for his future brewery. I looked at Portland's lights, the river, Luna snoozing at my feet, and said, "You know, I thought after Travis, I'd never trust anyone again." Jake set his bottle down, took my hand. "Kate, you're not just trusting," he said. "You're building a badass life. And I'm, stoked to be part of it." I smiled, feeling at home for the first time in forever. Not just in the apartment, not just in Portland, but in my own skin. Looking back, I don't regret a thing. Travis was a mistake, but he taught me one lesson. Don't feed parasites, literally or figuratively. I chose myself, chose Luna, chose Jake. And every time I see that fork in my Honda's glove box, I laugh. It reminds me how far I've come from that February nightmare. I'm free, I'm happy, and damn it, I deserve this.